and I was this close to quitting. I was this close to quitting, guys. And one thing I started telling myself, and what was the end goal? It was finishing the Spartan race, finishing the obstacle. Hey, what is up? Aulundrew back again, and what I'm going to talk about right now is part 2 to the feel like giving up series or never giving up. I remember going in my comments and someone in there said, you know, I would really love to hear a part 2 to this. And you know what? For that specific person, I'm doing this specifically for you and everybody else. I forgot to mention this throughout the channel. If you like the content, please subscribe. You know, hit the like button and the bell icon so you can get notified. And please do me this favor. Please comment below and let me know what your thoughts on the idea of never giving up or never quitting, or what would you do, or an experience that you went through in your life where you didn't quit, and tell me what you've taken away, so that everybody can see and so everybody can share those experiences. Because guess what? We all go through struggle, we all go through pain, but let's inspire people of the result after that. You know, one of the biggest things that you really think about whenever you're going out through your life, I'm actually going to tell you a little story about something that was the most physically demanding thing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm going to go over that. But when you think about like giving up, man, you know, there's a saying: quitters never win, winners never quit. Yep, that's a saying that I heard. A saying is winners never quit and quitters never win. And to going into exactly the story that I'm talking about was back in 2016. I was in Hawaii. I actually lived there. And there was this thing called a Spartan Race. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that is, but I mean, it's this obstacle like that you go through all these different kind of like these literally obstacles, whether you're jumping over 10-12 foot walls, you're swimming through rivers, crawling through mud, like you're doing all of that. Well, man, I should have told you that more into the story, but the point is, like in this journey, right, how it started was someone that I used to work with said, hey, you down to do it? And I said, you know, not really. And then he challenged me. He said, you're not down. I don't think you can complete it. And I'm very competitive at times. So I said, yep, I'll do it. I just did it. I didn't know anything about it. I'd never done an obstacle race before. I've never done, I just didn't know. I just said yes to the opportunity. I said, great, I'm going to do it. I mentioned to a friend of mine, I said, hey, you want to do this Spartan race thing? They said yes. They didn't even think about it. They just did it. And honestly, in this story that I'm about to tell you was probably the most, I really appreciate this person because he was there through me. If, honestly, if he wasn't there, I probably wouldn't have finished. I would have quit too. That's why I talk about in one of my older videos, having an accountability partner. And that was my accountability partner. So going back into it, 4 months later, August of 2016, Spartan Race happens. We're driving up to where the race is being held at. 6 o'clock in the morning, sun's is starting to rise. Windows are down, and we're just hearing, just prepping for the day as we start getting there. I start getting anxious, and because I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be fun. I thought it was gonna be fun. It was not fun at all, and I'll tell you why. We got there, we got the registration, we did everything we did, and at 8 o'clock in the morning is when we started. Took out the gun, flare, whatever, and then they said, go! And that is when me and all my group and the people who challenged me said we all did it at the same time. Well, it was fun. The first obstacle we actually went through was swimming through like a river for like 100 meters or 100 yards or something, 50 yards or something like that. But it was fun. But for the first 3 miles, it was definitely interesting. And I say interesting because there were some obstacles that honestly I could not do. I had to do some extra workouts to get through that. But on the third mile is when everything went downhill. Just so you understand, there's three different race lanes. There's a 3 miler, which is called a sprint. There's a 6 miler, which is a super, and there's 16 miler, 13 to 16 miles, which is called a beast. I don't know. This is the first time I did. I just said yes to the beast, and go big or go home kind of thing. Pride. I don't even know. I ended up doing the beast, the 16 miler. 3 miles in though, That was where everything went downhill for me, man. Why do I say that? I was jogging uphill, and I remember my right calf started to cramp up hard. Like, I just started to cramp. And I started jogging. I told my buddy, hey, can you come look at my calves and see what it's looking like? He said it looked like a baseball, right? And then literally seconds after that, my left calf started to cramp up. And I don't know if you've ever had a cramp before, but it is not pleasurable. You know, this thing hurts. And in the middle of this race, I started cramping on my calves, right? I had to stop and grab some water, try and stretch it out. But as we started going, I started cramping. Then I started cramping in my quadriceps, my legs. And then by the time we were 6 miles in, guys, I was cramping at like 12 different parts of my body. My back, my legs, my calves. You know, I walked into a river. I saw a river, right? Like 6 miles into this race. I saw a river, and I was in so much pain. When I tell you I'm in so much pain, 6 miles in, I still got another 10 miles to go. I saw a river, and I said, dude, let me give it a second. I need to go plot down inside this river real quick because I'm hurting, like pain. I jump off the course, I go into this water, and I plot, and the water's up to my belly. I'm just sitting there. People are running by looking at me. It's like, yo, that looks so fun. That looks cool. And I'm like, yeah, it is because, you know, it's painful. That's what it feels like because of everything. My body was just hurting. Like I said, Spartan Race was the most physically demanding thing I've ever done in my entire life. After I got up there and we started continuing running, what I started to notice, man, I just started complaining. And one of the things I told you guys in my other videos, if you're following me in this journey, was that I keep talking about, I hate complainers, not a big fan of complainers. Oh, I don't like complainers. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm a human being. I was complaining since mile 3. I mean, if you're cramping at 12 different parts of your body, trust me, I don't think anybody else is going to. I don't think nobody is not going to complain. Everyone's going to complain. I definitely was. And as we're running, as I started noticing people were getting carted out of the obstacle course, right? And I just saw them sitting there, just driving off, you know, going back to the starting line. I see them another person getting onto car. I just see people quitting. And I'm like, man, I just want to quit. I'm hurting, bro. I'm telling my buddy, like, I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I just see those carts drive by, and I'm just like imagining myself on the cart as it drives by because I want to quit because my body was just in so much pain. But here's the thing, though, right? I had to change my focus. You're wondering, what do I mean by that? What do you mean by that, Aulundrew? You have to change your focus. Well, because every time I saw a cart, man, I started imagining myself in the cart, and I was this close to quitting. Guys. I knew I had to change my focus, and one thing I started telling myself, instead of saying, you know, I want to quit or focus on that, I started focusing on one thing at the very end. The end goal. What was the end goal? It was finishing the Spartan race, finishing the obstacle course, finishing 16 miles of death. I say death, but damn near, that's what it felt like. And at the end of 16 miles, one thing I was gonna get was this metal, right? This green heavy metal. I didn't know if it was heavy or not. I didn't know if it was plastic. I didn't know how big it was. But in my head, though, like, instead of focusing on the cart and driving people off, I started focusing on, man, and my buddy can tell you this, like, I focused on, man, that metal better be heavy. That metal better be heavy. Oh, I'm so much pain. That metal better be heavy. That's all I said throughout the entire race. It got to the point where we got to 10 miles in, and we had another 6 miles to go. There was no turning back. There was no turning back. I was hurting in 18 different places. At the end of it, I cramped in 22 different parts of my body, believe it or not. I got to the point where we were 10 miles in, and there was a one-way direction. There's no turning back. And I already knew, all right, at that point, all this pain that I've already been through. There's Eric Thomas says, like, there's this guy named Eric Thomas. He says, if you're already going through the pain, get something out of it, right? Get something out of it. Don't quit. And as I was 10 miles in, I thought about two things. Number one, I can turn around, but guess what? Instead of doing 16 miles, I got to do another 10 miles. 10 miles this way, I gotta go another 10 miles back. I was like, unless I got another 6 miles to go. But here's the thing, guys. There is only one way. The moment I pass this 10-mile mark, there is no carts. That's how crazy it started to get. There was no carts. And I just knew there was 6 more miles to go. 6 more miles to go. No matter how much pain I got through, I just keep pushing myself. And my buddy stuck by me. He just said, keep going. He told me a story at about 6 miles in. He said he was 10 miles in or something. He said he wanted to quit too, right? He's more fit than I am. But he wanted to quit too. But he looked back at me about a quarter mile away, maybe like 2, I don't know, just probably back to these trees if you can see him. Like I'm pretty far. But he sees me still humping and going 1 foot in front of the other. And he told me this literally. He's like, honestly, Aulundrew, I was probably going to quit. I remember about 10 miles in, 9, 10 miles in, that I looked back and I saw you behind me in pain, more pain than he was. And then I was, I'm speaking if I was him. I saw you behind me going through so much pain, but I saw you keep putting 1 foot in front of the other. That's what motivated me. I'm speaking as if I was him. And that right there is like, man, that's the reason why you got to surround yourself with people who's going to keep pushing you to the end. And it got to the point I complained so much that he started pushing me. That's what, remember, back to the accountability partner thing. It's important for you to succeed in life. And I almost quit so many times. I've complained so many times, but he was there, just kept saying, put 1 foot in front of the other. Went through an obstacle course. He helped me on some of them because, man, I was just done. But I just kept going forward. I got to the point where there is no turning back, and you just got to keep going forward. I did that. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, I finished the race, right? I finished the race. Woo! I finished the race, and I kept talking about some heavy metal. I better gain a heavy metal. But the biggest thing that I've learned in my life was that I got more than just a medal. See, for 10 hours, I forgot to tell you, I started at 8 o'clock and I ended at 6 p.m. For 10 hours, I went through the struggle, right, in regards to pain in my body. At the end of it, 16 miles later, 10 hours later, I finally got the medal. But the one thing that I did take away that's even more important than that medal was the belief that I was able to put my body through all of that and still survive. I mean, I felt like, I'm not going to lie, let's be honest. Like, there's a lot of people doing it, okay? Like, there's a lot of more fit people than I am. And I thought I was okay. But my body didn't tell me I was okay because I was too busy in so much pain. And the idea of never quitting. If I was to quit, I would never learn that lesson. What lesson? Is understanding that I can do so much more in my life if I just do not quit. Now, if I quit, guess what was going to happen? I was going to go drive off in the car, go sit at the beginning, and wait for all my friends to come back and finish. And guess what? That would be the biggest regret that I've ever felt in my entire life, is quitting. Because I seen every single person do it, and I quit because of I'm in so much pain. Dude, like I said, like Eric Thomas says, you're going to get pain no matter what. It's a part of life. Instead of getting nothing out of it, get something out of it. And that was another thing that kept pushing me. Let me get something out of it. Let me focus on that medal. I gained more than that. I gained more than the medal. Back to it. I gained the understanding that I can do more things than my mind can tell me that I can do, or my body can tell me. I can do more things in my life and not make the circumstances of life tell me what I can and cannot do. I became more of a believer in myself after that event. I went through so much pain. For the next week, I was in so much pain. But guess what? I'm here standing in front of you today to tell you that I survived. It didn't kill me. Sometimes, in order for you to get stronger, you got to go through the struggle. And I went through it. And the biggest thing I have to tell you guys is don't quit. quitting is probably the easiest thing that you can do in whatever road, whatever journey that you're on. You know, whether you're doing a business, whether you're working on your fitness, whether you're going to school, whether you're building relationships with family, friends, or fiancés and all that stuff, like, it's gonna be painful. Different kind of pain, physical, mental, emotional, you know, all of that. There's always going to be pain, right? But just don't quit. Don't quit on the number one person is yourself. Don't quit on yourself. If I quit on myself, I was going to have the biggest regret that I'm going to be dealing with for the past, 4 years now? But I'm so glad that I didn't quit on myself today, because I know that's a story that I can live with me forever. And if you don't quit, you're going to gain so much more than what you think you're going to get at the end. You're going to gain so much more, you don't even know it yet. So I implore you, I encourage you to just keep pushing through no matter what you're going through. And I hope that my story and everything that I've been through, and this story that I'm talking to you about right now, resonates with you, or you can find some connection or value from everything that I just told you. And if you do, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you for spending time to watch, you know, or to watch this channel, or to hear the things that I got to say, because the biggest thing for me is I'm just trying to share this information with you, and hopefully you take value from that. So until next time, I appreciate everybody here. Aulundrew out. Peace.